over there, Richard. Thank you. I don't know if I gave you one of my cards. There it is. I think you did. I probably set it down. Oh, it's right there. You're right. Good. So, the reason we wanted to talk to you is about the, like I said, the Abigail case. Okay. And I appreciate your time in doing that. And as a formality, before we talk to anybody about these things, I want to make sure you understand you're not under arrest or anything like that, okay? And the door here is open. You can leave at any time you want. I'll be glad to give you a ride back or whatever. So, but we need to make sure that we go cover a formality here. And I'm going to get to the page here where it's at. This is a Miranda warning. So before we ask any questions, you need to understand your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask any questions and have it with you during questioning. If you cannot afford a lawyer, we'll be appointed for you before any question if you wish. If you decide to answer questions now without a lawyer present, you have the right to stop answering any time. You also have the right to stop answering any time you talk to a lawyer. Now, like I said, you're not under arrest, so we just want to make sure you understand those rights. Down here at the bottom it says, I read this statement of our rights, I understand our rights. I do not want a lawyer at this time, and I understand what I am doing. No promises or threats have been made to me, no pressure or coercion of any kind has been used against me. If you'd be willing to talk with us, or just if you understand your rights, we just need your signature there to be covered.
Okay.
Okay. Now, this is a formality we take care of whenever we talk to anyone.
We're just going back to the beginning of the case, and we know you had talked to Lieutenant Doolin. We just want to figure out what you saw when you were out there before.
Great, wonderful. Okay. Now, Tony brought up something that you had done when initially you had talked to Lieutenant Doolin. And according to Lieutenant Doolin, the information he got to you from you was that you were on the trail between 1:30 and 3:30. Does it make any sense? Okay. And that you had parked at the old Farm Bureau building. I think that may have been the old welfare office out there.
Well,
and while at the Freedom Bridge, you saw three females and noted that one was taller and had black or brown long hair. This is basically what he had written down. Okay. And maybe even got some information about your phone or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great. So now you understand everything. So I want to make sure that we just kind of get some information from you. We get started here off the bat with today's date, which is Thursday. And today is 10/13 of 22. What time do you have, Tony?
11:45.
10:45. And your full name is?
Richard.
H-A-R-D.
Matthew. Allen.
That's A-L-L-E-N.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and how old are you now?
50 years old.
Okay. Your date of birth?
9972.
Okay, great. Could I ask you to write down the social security number where the X is at right there?
I'm in the 50-year-old club this year.
I'm beyond that, actually. So.
Just turned. No.
Sorry. Hard to believe. And do you know your driver's license number off the top of your head?
No.
Don't worry about it. The home address, I didn't get it when I was out there. What is it?
1967.
67.
White Man Drive.
Okay. And a phone number you can be contacted at?
317-612-4533.
Would you have for water? I got one right here, John.
Oh, okay, sure. I'll be right back.
And do you have any of their cell phone numbers that you can be contacted by?
I got my wife's number.
Okay, what is her phone number?
317-612-4753.
Okay.
Never dial numbers anymore.
You don't, I know exactly what you're talking about, yeah, okay. And how long have you had that phone number, that's your, 317 number? Evidently,
I believe I got it when I worked at Indy, so it would have been prior to 2006,
okay,
because it's an Indy number.
okay. Okay. So, let's see, and can I ask what kind of phone do you have?
It's an Android, a Google.
Okay. Yeah, what's your email address?
RICK2045 @frontier.com.
Do you have any other email addresses? I got a couple myself, so I asked.
Yeah, I've got, I don't use it very often. It's Foojaka, FOOJACKA 0 @gmail.com. And I had one at Yahoo at some point too, but I don't remember what it was.
Okay, great. What kind of social media do you applications do you use, like Facebook? No, at all? Do you have a Facebook account?
Oh, my wife does, I don't.
Sounds so familiar. Okay. And does she post often? Things like,
She's,
yeah, on there all the time?
and she does.
Okay, all right. So what is your marital status?
Married.
Married, okay. And have you been married before?
No.
Okay. Number of children, we were talking about your kids, your
One.
daughter. What's your name again?
Rick. Oh, my daughter. Rick Jr. No, BRITTANY.
Okay. And how old is Brittany now, you said? You did math earlier.
28,
28, okay. She's born when, you said?
1994.
94, okay. And what's her last name now?
Zapanta. It's ZAPANTA.
Okay. And any grandkids?
No.
Oh, okay. And what's her husband's name? Is he from around here?
He's originally from the Philippines,
Oh, okay.
but lived in Canada, and he's been here, well, shortly before they got married, so around 16, maybe 15, 16,
Okay.
I don't know. They got married in 17.
What's his name?
Paulo, P-A-U-L-O.
Okay. P-A-U-L-L? Oh, I put another one.
P-A-U-L-O.
I got it, okay, all right. So, but he lived here for a while, so I never assumed Zapantas being around here.
No, not around here.
Not around here?
No.
Maybe somebody else?
She was already up in Napanee when she met him.
Oh, I see, okay. All right, graduated from high school, where at?
North Miami.
What year?
91.
Okay. And any other vocational training, college classes?
Went to Ivy Tech, like a couple semesters.
What'd you study there?
Accounting.
Okay. Any other vocational training, or? Okay.
Well, I was in the military, but
Oh, okay, that's a question coming up here. Were you involved in any fraternal organizations, clubs, or athletics, or anything like that in school?
I did some track here and there. I did football for like a year, but nothing serious.
Okay. Any clubs or National Honor Society or something like that?
Oh, no.
Sorry. Military service, so what branch?
National Guard, Army National Guard.
And what was highest rank achieved?
E5 sergeant.
Okay. Mostly around here? Or
No, it was in, I was born right, well, not born, but I lived in Mexico most of my life.
Mexico, like in
Indiana.
Indiana, like in Miami.
Yeah,
Okay.
you always get that. Yeah, Mexico, Philly, Denver, yeah.
Okay, all
It was
right.
Mexico.
Yeah, okay.
But it was Peru was where I was in the National Guard at, sorry.
All right. Go to church anywhere?
No,
Have you ever?
on occasion, nothing,
Okay. Where'd you usually go to? Any place around
I
here?
don't even know. No, not around here.
Okay. All right. Parents go to church, or did they take you to church when you were a kid?
No, my grandparents went to church, my parents didn't.
Oh, I see. Okay. Any criminal history? Have you been arrested for anything? Okay. Any medical problems, heart trouble, high blood pressure, psychological disorders?
Oh, yeah, did everything.
Okay.
I've had a heart attack, I've got a couple stents,
Okay.
and,
How long ago was your heart attack?
it's 2010.
Okay, you were 40.
37.
Holy cow.
Mm-hmm. And anything else?
Depression, anxiety, high blood pressure, cholesterol.
All right. And you're working at CVS. So you said you've been there how many years?
Since, well, not the one here, but with CVS since 2013.
Okay. So you worked at another CVS somewhere? Was it?
Yeah, I worked in training in Marion, I worked in Peru, and then I came to Delphi. I'm thinking 16, 17, 16. I've been there a while now.
But you said you lived at your house out there since 2000. So you would drive back and forth to those CVS?
Yeah, I was leaving Walmart. Like I said, I spent 10 years with Walmart. I was actually a store manager at one point with Walmart. Chose to leave the company and do something different, and interviewed with CVS, and Peru was the district manager that I interviewed with. Peru was the furthest western store that he had, or closest to me.
Mhm.
So that's where I was going to be working, and it just didn't work out the way that I thought it was long term. I mean, I was there several years, but I wanted to, they had a training position, a managerial training position. I told them I didn't want to do that anymore.
Mhm.
Long story short, and put in the transfer back, and like I said, I'm 16, I'm going to say around 16, 17, somewhere.
All right. Well, managing is kind of hard sometimes, I understand. Is there a particular reason why you didn't stay in management, or?
Tired of it, the bureaucracy, just not really being about taking care of the customer. It's more about hitting this number on this spreadsheet and that number on that spreadsheet, and then you're getting a call every 15 minutes if you didn't hit this number on this spreadsheet. And none of them really help you take better care of the customer. I mean, you spend your time managing scorecards, and I just had enough of it.
Sure.
I was just tired of it.
Sure, okay. Okay. Let's see, so from where we're at right now, I think probably, can you help us understand what was going on Monday, February the 13th? Can you kind of tell us what you were doing that day and every day the girls
Okay.
were on the trail?
Okay.
Yeah.
I went over to my mom's in Peru, Mexico, earlier in the day. I think my mom had hip surgery back then or something, but regardless, my wife was working, so I went over there and spent the day, not the day, I spent the morning with them. My sisters come over and they were going to go eat lunch and stuff, and I wasn't about that, so I went home, and I remember it was a fairly warm day, or warmer than normal, so I think I just put a jacket on and went back out to the trails. Usually when we go, we walk down the High Bridge and walk back and walk down the other side and come back. I mean, it wasn't a ritual, but I remember walking down to the bridge. The times, I left my mom's, it was probably around 11:15. So I think I would have been out there, because I didn't do anything else. It would have been around noon, I thought, is when I was out there. Walked down to High Bridge. Always went out just a little ways, not all the way. Went out a little ways and watched the fish. See if I see any fish down there, because I like fishing. And walked back and sat on the, when you turn around and go down the other fork, there's a bench that overlooks, and sat there for a few minutes and walked down walked back out and left.
Okay. Anything else you remember? Where was you parked your car at?
Said there was, the big parking lot wasn't there at the time, right?
Oh, you mean which one?
Like where the bridge is at, I don't think it was there. So there's if you went over behind, there's a back road that went up, and there was a bridge, not the main bridge. There was a smaller bridge where you could park there, or you could park over on the other side. And I remember I didn't park over there where it's a farmer's entrance or something. I remember I didn't park there because I had told him something about, there were a couple vehicles there when I left, so I had parked somewhere, either parked over on the bridge side, or there used to be a little building there. I could have parked there. There was a trail until they got the whole thing done.
Okay.
When you're talking about the bridge, just so I'm clear, you're talking about that big blue bridge, the Freedom Bridge or whatever that goes over the highway?
Well, that's the big blue bridge, but before that was there was a, if you were going out of town, you would take the road that I think is where the park is. It veers off, it winds off this way, and there's a road, the first road you come, well, I don't know if it's the first road, but there's a road that takes off to the right, and there's houses, and then it just kind of turns into a lane, and there was a small bridge up there before, I mean, I think it's still there if you were...
Like the one, okay, so you're talking about the one-lane bridge, kind of, that goes over the street?
It wasn't used. It wasn't a bridge that was used, I guess is what I'm saying. It was just, there was a parking area up there that you could park in.
Okay.
And that's where that's where quite a few people would park before they, I mean, now there's a nice parking space, but before it was either you parked there or you parked over in the farmer's thing, and I mean, at one point they had it marked that they didn't want you parking there, so and I know it wasn't over there, because I told them something about some cars that were there, so I would have been parked up on the bridge side of things, I guess is what I'm saying.
I guess it won't happen.
So this is kind of an overview of the area. So obviously this is the Blue Bridge here over the Houston Heartland Highway.
Okay.
Yeah, and so, can you mark on where you think you parked at? Good.
Show me the Blue Bridge again.
Blue Bridge, here's the Houston Heartland Highway, here's Main Street. The road that comes out from downtown goes out into Heartland. And here's the Andersons, I think that's going to be their fertilizer plant, and down there's the...
So that's the Blue Bridge. I mean, it's right there. It would have been over in here somewhere probably.
Well, that's one of the parking areas. Okay, and then I used...
Or it would have been, there was a old building somewhere over...
there's a, I This map was taken back when the building was still there. And this is the building that was on the bridge, the trail side of the bridge.
Okay.
So down up
You
here.
went this way, I think you went down this way and
Mhm.
like
There's
went
a-
an underpass or something?
Yep, that's right. And then there's a building right there, if you can see it.
Okay. So it would either been there or there.
Okay, all right, very good. Which way do you think you would have traveled to get to this building that particular day, if you remember?
Just that way that loops around.
Okay.
I don't know the names of the roads or anything, I mean, I could show you where I drove, but it just, on the way, the road that goes out, it's basically the same way that you get to this one, except, no, it's further up, and you go down and it like comes down and goes around somewhere and comes over on the other side.
Okay, very good, okay. Was it ever an occasion where you might have gone to the park another way? Did you go out here very often, I should ask?
Not, like, I wouldn't say often. I mean, we go out, we may go once a month, we may go twice in 1 week. I mean, it was just kind of one of those where when we felt like walking the trail, we'd go.
Mhm.
I mean, I could say we visited it regularly.
Mhm.
During the summer months, we didn't really go out there much in the winter. We may have gone out a time or two, but
Right, okay. So was it ever something, was there ever a time that you guys took another path to get out there besides going around this way, or do you remember anything like that?
I think there's a way, if you go past where you park the farmer's entrance that I was telling you
I
about.
think it's down here, there's an entrance across from a residence that's a farmhouse.
Hmm.
Does that make any sense?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I know that there's a way that winds around, and you can eventually get back to 200, or whatever road it is, we're off of 200 North, I think it is. It comes out somewhere down there, but we only did that, I think we found that by accident one time. We thought we'd go that way and try to get back, and it was, we eventually came out that way somewhere.
Mhm. Okay.
But no, I wouldn't, if we were gonna go there, we would go down through town and
Okay, good to know. All right. So let's talk more about what you remember doing that day, remember seeing that day.
Okay.
You gave an account to
Sure.
the officer who talked to you. And do you remember how that was prompted, how that happened, that you happened to talk to the officer?
I don't remember if it was the next day or a couple days, but shortly after they were asking for anybody that was there to come in. So I went down, I got home from work and my wife said, they want to talk, because I had obviously told her that I was there. And she said they want to talk to anybody that was down there, may have any information. I don't know how much, but I obviously will go down. So we went down to the sheriff's station, and I don't remember who it was, came out and talked to me and said that he would get my name and information. And then I was driving downtown for something, and I know that, remember he called me when I was in the car because I pulled over and talked to him. It was a DNR officer, and he asked me if I could come down and talk there, or if I want to meet somewhere. And I don't remember how or why. I think they were really busy, obviously, crowded probably. So I was heading down to, it was the Save-A-Lot parking lot down there, and I told him I would just meet him there if that was okay. So he came down, we talked. He looked at my phone, took my phone information, and I think he got some, we took the battery out and everything, and he got information off of us. So that's pretty much it. And I gave him the account. Forgive me, it's been years, and I thought about it a lot. As time goes on, it's, like I said, I think I was there probably around noon. It could have been a little before noon or a little after noon. Walked down, back an hour, so probably 1:30, 1:45, depending on exactly what time it was that I got there that day. I just remember walking down the trail, and I had told him that when I was approaching the trailhead, I guess is what I'd call it, there was 3 girls walking off the trail, and I just remember it looking like one of them was probably watching, not babysitting, but watching the other 2 because they looked a little younger. And they looked very similar. I don't know if they were sisters or whatever, but the other one didn't necessarily. But I remember seeing them walking off the trailhead, and I didn't really see anybody. I walked down, like I said, I looked at the water, I walked back, and I sat, I mean, somebody could have walked behind me, I guess, but I sat on that bench that overlooks the creek bed and all that. And I remember telling him, when I left, I remember there being, I think there was 2 vehicles down there on that farmer's entrance that I told you about. And that's why I know I didn't park there, because obviously I wouldn't recall seeing cars there if I parked there.
The farmer's interest, are we still talking about this area here, or is there some other location here?
There's a pull-in, like right next to the trail, is all I can tell you. There's a pull-in right next to the trail, and a trail actually leads up to the trail.
Yeah, it's hard to see from here, but I think this is what's called the old Mears.
Probably. There was a farmhouse across from it, is all I knew.
Right.
And it was like that, I mean, I guess it looked like where you take farm equipment in and out or something, but I know at one point they flagged it that it said no parking, so we didn't park there for a period of time, but.
Did you ever park there before when you went?
Yeah.
A lot of times you did? Okay.
I mean, we used to, when it wasn't marked. We did a cleanup down there one time I brought a bunch of Walmart people, kind of a community engagement thing, and we did a cleanup down there. It's the year that they tore down, we tore down that, if you go down, not the High Bridge way, but that one where I sit on the bench.
Yeah.
That I was telling you about. If you go down that hill, there used to be a little shed, a little shack down there, and they tore that, and we were there that day that we tore that down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you guys did that with Walmart. Was that a local Walmart you worked at?
Lafayette.
Lafayette,
Yeah.
okay. The one on Commerce or the one on
Commerce.
Okay, all right. So, you guys came up and did that. Do you know when that was?
Oh, Lord, no. Well,
It was before or after this?
2006, it would have been,
Way before.
I wasn't even with, it was what, 17?
Yep. When the girls were out there.
13, 17. I wasn't even with Walmart at the time. I would have already been with CVS, yeah.
Okay. So sometime in the...
Yeah, it would have been way before. I mean, I went to CVS in, what did I say, 13, so it would have had to been before 13.
Okay. So you were out there then working on the trails?
I'm going to say a lot earlier than that because I worked in Chicago, south of Chicago, for a couple of my last years with Walmart when I was actually running that store. So probably around 9, 10 maybe.
Okay. All right, somewhere around there. So you were working out there in the trails. Had you been familiar with the trails before then? Was there a time that you had been out trails before that?
We had walked, after we moved to Delphi, I mean, we started experimenting. I mean, there were trails that we didn't know were there, but, you know, you'd hear about one and you'd go, and I'm sure by that point, well, obviously I know by that point I knew about them because that's how I don't know how I got associated with the Dan something or other that runs the Erie, I think it was Dan, run like the Erie Canal thing, and McCain.
Yeah, okay.
I don't remember how I became acquainted with him, but I asked him, because at Walmart, you know, as a leader, they always want you to be involved in the community, and I mean, it's a good thing,
Sure.
but you can also give money to, like, so, because we brought so many people out for that event for a day, we had so many hours, and we were able to donate money because of that from Walmart to the Erie Canal Foundation or whatever. So we worked, I guess the question is, yeah, I had been on the trails before that day. And we also worked out at the Carrollton Bridge that day. There's a tow path or something. We cleaned up some stuff along there too.
Oh, okay, yeah, makes sense. All right, well, that's good.
So, yeah, I sat there for a few minutes and left, and like I said, there were a couple vehicles. I may have told him the exact makes, I'm not sure. I just remember one was like a sedan, and I think maybe one was an SUV, I'm not sure. I have to look back at what I said that when I interviewed with him.
And that was at the, you call it farmer's entrance, those cars were at the farmer's entrance? Is
Yes,
that what
sir.
you're saying? Okay. What about where you parked? Were there any other vehicles?
I know there were no vehicles where I parked because I don't remember telling him. I mean, if he asked, I didn't see anything there that day.
Okay.
A lot of people would park at that farmer's entrance because I'm thinking that was probably when they didn't really want you parking there, and that's probably why I didn't park there, but it's much closer to the trails. So a lot of people like to park there. You walk in and you're actually like halfway through the trail, so you can walk one way and the other and leave. But I know at one point, like I said, they didn't want you parking there, so we didn't.
So back then, if you told, he said his report said old Farm Bureau building, so would that be?
I never really knew what that building was. I just remember telling him there was a building there. And if that's where I told him I parked, then that's probably where I parked. Because we, like I said, we would either park, obviously the farmer's entrance was always the most convenient, but there was a bridge, a small bridge before the blue bridge. I don't know if I got this right. This is Anderson's?
Yes.
So there was a little tiny, it used to be like a one-way bridge. It wasn't even a road anymore. Like, you could either go towards the blue bridge
Or you drive under it too?
Yeah, I think you drive.
Now I call it.
It wasn't, that parking lot wasn't there on the other side, so you didn't, but yeah, you would, you went, like I said, you take this road that forks off coming out of Delphi somewhere, and then you take a right, and it's just a little road, and there's some people that live along it, but then at the end of the road, it goes up to this, like I said, there's like a parking area where people used to park.
I think I know what you're talking
Yeah, I
about.
think you can't see it on here, but what you're describing
Probably.
is the road that leads up to this parking area that you're talking, it's out of the side of that side of the...
Sure, it's probably, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, how far out to the bridge did you go that day when you were out there? Do you remember?
How far what?
How far out onto the High Bridge?
I have no idea how many feet it is. The way I always know is there's one of those platform things that stick off the side, and I usually, years past, like 9, 10, let's see, 6, 7, between 6 and 10 probably. I've actually been across the High Bridge back when it was in a little bit better shape, but somewhere in there, 8, 9, 10, somewhere it started getting pretty rugged and stopped going across it. But for the most part, I didn't go past that one whatever the thing is that sticks out. I'd go out there and kind of look. Like I said, fishermen, I'd look and see if I see any fish or anything, and then I went back the other way.
Yeah, I think those were back in the day, if a train was coming and you were out there, that you
Kick
could
it off.
possibly at least get out of the train's way.
Exactly.
I don't think I would still want to be on it when a train came.
Exactly, yes. Yeah. So yeah, that day, I don't remember what year it was, but it was well before 16, 17. I don't know, just decay.
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
So if you were parked there, and correct me if I say anything.
The bridge?
Over here,
Okay.
at that building, I'm sorry. So if you're parked there, how did you get on the trail? Where did you walk?
At one point, you either walked down the road, but then at one point they had a trail there. Not a trail, I wouldn't even call it a trail. They had a gravel path that led to the new thing that they were doing. I call it the trailhead. When they started doing all that, there was a trail that would, I think it ran along the road, if I remember right, and then it just cut over to where the trailhead was at. You couldn't really park. I just remember where that path was at. You'd think you could park there, but it was no parking, so you had to walk. You either parked over here and it was actually closer if you went over here and you could just walk to the bridge that way. And then if you went this way, it was a little bit further because you walked along the road to
So you would normally walk along the road, or was there a path that went?
At one point, I think you walked along the road. Honestly, I don't even remember. Where's the trails here? That's why I said, at some point, it was probably after they put that little pathway in that we even parked there. I don't think we ever even used that until they put that path there, and it was just because it was the only way to get to Trailhead from that side. And like I said, at one point, they didn't want you parking down here at this farmer thing, so they had put in a gravel path in, and you would park there. So you either parked over there, or you parked there and walked down the gravel path. And the path cut over to where the Trailhead thing is. So I guess what I'm saying is I don't know that we ever parked at that little building, whatever it was, until they laid that gravel path to it. And I think we thought that was a new, I guess, designated parking area, and that's when we parked there once in a while. We'd still park over here once in a while, it just depended on which, and like I said, there was times when we'd park there on and off whenever they didn't have it posted, they didn't want you parking there. And we probably did a time or two when they did have it posted, but we didn't make a habit of it.
So that car that was in your garage, would that have been what you drove out there that day?
Oh, my God. Let me think here. It would have either been that one or our great Ford 500. We kind of switched vehicles back and forth. It's kind of because I've oftentimes worked further away from home, and when I was working in Peru, the car's, what did I say, it's a 16. So prior to that, I'd had a little red Ford Focus, and our trucks we get our truck at like 4 o'clock in the morning. So on truck day, I'd be driving over to Peru at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And one day I was driving and I was tired. I mean, there's often times you'd be tired, but this day I was just so tired, like to the point I almost, and should have just pulled over. But I made it over there, and I turned off, didn't take the highway all the way up. I took the turn off that takes you into the back way to Peru, and made it all the way in town, and literally I fell asleep. And I woke up when my airbag went off. I veered off the road and hit a SUV parked on the side of the road. And literally that's when I woke up. Like, I didn't even know. It took me several seconds, if not a minute, to get my bearings and even figure out what had happened. I still didn't know, because when it hit the SUV, it threw it clear up over the sidewalk into somebody's front porch. Like, I literally didn't brake at all. I was asleep, so I hit it full speed. So anyway, I get out, and there's not even anything there. I'm like, what did I hit? And there was a person stopped on the other side of the road. Anyway, long story short, they called the police, blah, 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 and I had to that's when I bought that black car.
The black car being the 16?
The one in the garage.
Okay.
And so I got that car because I have to drive back and forth and want something that gets good gas mileage. So my point is, I was driving the black car, and then when I transferred and came back to Delphi, I didn't need the gas mileage anymore, and it was a nicer car, so I gave it to my wife. And from that time until just earlier this year, I drove the gray car and she drove the black car. Now, if I was going somewhere out of town, a lot of times I would use the black car, depending on how far we're going. The gray car was dependable, but it's just one of those where the longer, I guess, more recently, I started driving, if I was going to go to Lafayette or something for an appointment or whatever, I'd take the black car just because it's more dependable. And
yeah, she works at her.
But anyway, yeah. And then during that time period, I drove the gray Ford 500, and she would drive the black car, had her little cat license plate and all that on it. And then when I got her van, the gray car pretty much had it, and it was either, I had that and a truck as well. I had a truck for, 3-4 years. I bought it used, and we didn't drive it hardly ever, and it was one of those where get rid of them while they're still worth something, so we traded them both in, and I got the van that she drives now, and then I went back to driving the black car. So
if I remember right, you said you were gone to Miami County to see your mom. Mexico. Would you have planned to drive the black car because that was a trip out of town?
I wouldn't have planned, no. During that time, it was still,
okay.
The gray car was still, it's not like it was a junk car. We bought it brand new. It was a 2006. But I just say in the last, 3-4 years, it's not, the car didn't run well. It's just one of those where it's old enough that you know, you don't want to get over somewhere, especially because usually if I am driving, it's because she's at work and I don't want to end up having to get stranded somewhere. But that was more recently, so that's why I don't know which, it was either the gray or the black one that day. It could have been the black one, could have been the gray one.
Makes sense. Okay.
It was an 06 4500.
So then, you get on the trails and you said you saw 3 girls. Where was it you saw the 3 girls?
They were up around the trail. I mean, I didn't like interact with them. It was up around the trailhead somewhere.
So you helped
Like when I say they were leaving, yeah.
Okay.
I'm assuming they were leaving, or they came from down where those cars parked and they were gonna go back that way, I don't know.
Okay. And then, did you see anybody else when you were out there? Anybody that stand there?
Nobody that stood out, I guess. I mean, if I did see somebody, it didn't click with me. And of course, my memory was a lot better when I talked to him that day. I don't remember seeing, like I told him, there may have been somebody on the bridge or something when I was coming back through, but I didn't. The only ones that I really noticed seeing were the 3 girls.
Okay.
Because I was walking towards them, and I mean, they obviously stood out. And like I said, I remember it looked like an older girl with 2 younger girls.
Okay.
Just walking the trail.
Okay.
And I guess I just assumed that she was probably watching them or in charge of them or whatever. Was
And
kind of what I felt like.
Okay. If you thought you saw somebody when you were coming back through from the bridge, where they were on the bridge?
I don't really remember seeing anybody that day, but I don't know. So if I did see somebody else, they didn't jump out to me or anything else. Like I said, it could have been people down around the cars, but I don't remember. I just remember seeing a couple cars parked over there. Like I said, Dan and SUV or something like that.
Okay. And then when you got back to your car, was there any other cars when you got back to your car?
I don't think so. Well, no, because I would have thought through that now.
Okay.
We're just been mining.
Do you know where you went afterwards, when you left there?
Well, that day. I always watch the stock market and
You know,
trading stocks a little
that was
bit.
something else that they remember the officer recorded, something about the stock market. So tell us about that.
I just got a individual trading account with Daytech originally, and I think it was TD Ameritrade. I trade stocks, try to get rich, lose money.
Did that work for you?
On and off it did actually, but no, it worked really terribly there for a while, and I don't even do it anymore. So
Okay.
it's just too much of a risk.
So did you have a phone or a watch or something you were looking at the stock market on, or?
I think so. I had a program on my phone to watch stocks. I don't remember exactly
So you've been keeping track?
when and how long I had it, but yeah, I had a program that I could, depending on the reception you had, of course. If you didn't have any reception, that wouldn't work. And
Was it fairly good out there that day?
And that's honestly, I think that's why I went home as quick as I did, because I wanted to get home and watch it on my computer with my stock tickers and all that stuff. So, because I remember that's what I remember doing that. That was like a hobby, I guess, for me, was watching the stock market and looking at charts and trying to predict what something's going to do and make money off of it.
Yeah, that's way out of my league.
Well, it was mine too. I just didn't realize it at the time.
What were you wearing that day? I mean, you said you put on a jacket. You put on a jacket and
Blue jeans, and I'm sure I put on a jacket because I think it was still fairly cool that day. I don't think it was super warm. I would have put on a jacket. I don't know.
Remember what kind of jacket
Probably
you had back
jeans.
then? I mean,
I've had Carhartt jackets over the years.
colors your jacket.
The one was blue, the one was black. Probably back then it would have been a black one. It had a hood built into it. So it was just a black zip up. I don't even think it was a Carhartt. I think it was an off-brand, but it was like a Carhartt. I could have worn that. I've had sweatshirts like what I threw on today. Hoodies, jackets. I mean, I've got a little bit of everything. Fleece.
Anything else you maybe headgear or anything like that? Wasn't that warm that day, but wasn't that cold either.
Always kept call them, skull cap, or just not a big fluffy hat, but a small hat.
So, So cap on your head, and anything else you've been wearing besides like what kind of shoes? I mean, pretty strange to ask a question like that. But what was, at the time I probably could tell you what kind of tennis shoes I had because I usually make them last a very long time.
Well, and I've got shoes that I've had for 10, 12 years probably. It would have been older tennis shoes, or I had military boots that I used to wear, but they just don't fit. I've been out of the military forever, so I had some combat boots in my closet that I used to wear occasionally. I don't know if I was still wearing them or not. I mean, I haven't worn them in years, but could have had a pair of work boots. I don't know. So probably older tennis shoes, but if it was wet out, sometimes I'd wear a boot, like a work boot, or but like I said, the combat boots, because they held water out pretty well.
Okay, great.
And I may have told him that day what I was wearing, I don't remember.
Do you know what kind of phone you had back then? You just still have that phone, do you?
If I do, it's in a closet somewhere. I'm sure to recycled it by now.
Oh, really?
Because I've had this for... My other one die. They'll tell me. Trying to go where I just went to look at. I don't know, it's been a few years now. Several years, not. Device. Google. It wasn't, I know that since that time I know I've gotten this phone. I don't remember when. It's not been a super long time, but it wasn't, I've had it long enough that I don't remember when I got it.
Do you have that picture of that car or no?
I don't think I do. Picture of the car on the road. Apparently I don't. Likely. Either way. So, a couple things I wanted to ask you after I checked my phone. It's just like ringing like crazy. What we would like to do is to be able to confirm some of the information that you've given us so far, to be able to examine your phone. As you're well aware, phones go everywhere with everybody, and they tell a lot of story about a lot of what people do. And sometimes the information on a phone can confirm, or maybe not necessarily confirm information about what somebody is saying. We have the ability to be able to extract the data from a phone and be able to look at it and be able to tell where somebody was at.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay. Would that be something you would allow us to take care of, do today and get it done?
How long are you going to have my phone?
Well, we ideally would like to have a phone that you had. But when you got that phone, did you take the data from the old phone and move it to the new phone?
I have no idea. I mean, I always try to save contacts.
Right. So if you had the phone, like, where'd you get the phone at? What service is it?
I go through Ting.
Okay.
It's an online service, and it's A lot of people don't know about it. It's really inexpensive, and I've had it for years now.
What's it called?
Huh?
What was it called?
Ting.
Ting, like T-I-N-G?
T-I-N-G.
Never heard of it.
It's online.
So you didn't really go to a store somewhere?
I used to,
Okay.
but I for years now, we've been with Ting.
Uh-huh.
You pay full price for your phone, and they have discounted ones, and so usually you'll pay a couple $100 for a phone, or you can pay $600-700, whichever, but
So they own
as
the
far
phone.
as the service,
Right.
I mean, I only pay around $40 a month for 2 phones, and
Wow.
that's
And is
pretty
your-
much everything.
Your service provider, is that Ting themselves, or is it another?
They, like, I think right now it's probably Verizon. It's one of those deals they use. Of course, all of them do that anymore. They use each other's
The big
towers and
corporate
stuff.
towers and, yeah.
But I think it's like my phone. Some of it depends on what type of phone you have too. Mine is based off of. I'm pretty sure it's off of Verizon right now.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Do you remember what you had back then? 2017?
I know I didn't have this one yet. I don't even know if they were making those yet.
I mean, as far as service provider?
Well, I've had Ting. God, I've had Ting for several years now.
So they may,
I probably would have had Ting.
okay, they may have changed service providers on you. Ting may have used a different service provider.
I don't like, since I've had this phone, I've never had them come out and say, hey, we're changing your provider. It's just a, I guess kind of the home system that it works off of. Like I said, it's Verizon. I'm trying to think if it's ever been, you don't even hear about AT&T anymore, but it could have been that at one point.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I never had it before we lived in Delphi though, so I know, I'm pretty sure because I always got my phone, I work at Walmart, so I get my service plans through them because I got discounts through them. So I know it's been since I left Walmart, so.
Okay.
I mean, so I went through regular periods prior to that. I've been with Ting forever.
Well, so then what I would like to do, if it's okay with you, would be to have an opportunity to look at the phone and examine some of the data on it. Really would like to get to the phone that you had back then. If you think it's in a closet somewhere in the house, yeah.
Actually, I don't have, I mean, when my wife comes home, she'll know, if we have it, she'll know exactly where it's at.
Okay, all right. So if it's okay
I
with
thought she
you,
recycled them, but she may not.
we could start with this phone, be able to extract the data from that, if that's okay with you. And I have a form that I read to folks before we get started on doing something like that, and it goes basically like this: you have the right to require that a search warrant be obtained before you search your property, have the right to refuse consent to a warrantless search, have the right to talk to a lawyer before giving consent to such a search. If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you. I've read the statement rights, I understand what rights are. I do not want a lawyer at this time. I consent to warrantless search by the officers of the police department fully described property, and be your cell phone and whoever carrier, and authorize these officers to seize any item of data which they consider as evidence. I understand and know what I am doing. No promises or threats have been made to me, and no pressure or coercion of any kind has been used against me. And I would need to have the passcode. Is your phone open, or is it just a passcode, or is it a pattern, face, or what?
There's a finger thing, and then there's a code override.
Mm-hmm.
I guess
Go ahead. Any questions you have, I'll try to answer.
just, I don't know, it's sounding more like you're, like I'm not gonna be somebody's fall guy.
Here's our
I thought we were talking,
I want to help you
I thought you
understand.
were trying to find
So
what I
everybody
might have that'd be helpful, but.
Everyone,
That's absolutely what we're doing.
everyone we talk to, we're trying to eliminate them from any suspicion of being involved in this case.
Sure.
So
I get that.
What we want to try to do is get as much information together to be able to show, okay, we've looked and didn't find anything. So, you understand what I'm saying?
Sure, I get that. I just, like I said, honestly, it amazes me that we're even talking. I mean, it's been so long, and I haven't thought about this much, and it's just like, I don't want to be somebody's fall guy, and we're going to try to make pieces of a puzzle fit somewhere they don't fit so we can close this thing, I guess. And I'm not saying you guys, please don't think I'm questioning your integrity. That's not what I'm saying. I just, okay. I mean, I guess that's where I'm at. It doesn't seem like a simple conversation we're having. It seems more like you think I might have done it, so.
I understand what you're saying. I completely get what you're saying and how I would feel from your point of view, okay?
Yeah.
But from our situation, what we're trying to do is be able to show what all you were doing that day, take a look at everything, make sure that we can show that what you're saying is true, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that we can be able to say to someone else, whoever's prosecuting this case, look, we looked at Mr. Allen, and he's not our guy. And we looked at him because we looked at his phone. And I was going to ask you something else too, be able to look at your car, and also, with your permission, we'd like to look at your house. And so
Okay.
all these things are very, very important to us to be able to...
No, I get that. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna, I mean, if you get to a point where you think that I need further investigating and you wanna get a warrant, do it, that's fine, but I'm not gonna have somebody going through my house and everything.
Sure. I just want to be honest with you.
I just don't, I guess I'm starting to feel more like your remaining lead or something here, and I'm not gonna do that.
Well, we
I'm
can
not
start,
gonna-
did you understand that because we are so far into this, that I'm sure you see the news, you see state police doing their thing, well, we,
For a great while, yeah.
we at the Carroll County Sheriff's Department, and he's an investigator with the prosecutor's office,
Sure.
we decided to pick through the very beginning of this again.
And I
And we're
understand that, I guess.
We're
yeah.
talking to everybody that was out there that day and trying to, and crossing T's, dotting I's. It's nothing more than
Sure.
that.
And I get that part of it.
So there's no fall guy, that's not.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not trying to question anybody's integrity. I just, like, I guess like I said, at the point that you think I might have actually done this, then if you want to get a warrant, search my house, my car, my orifices or whatever, that's fine. I mean, I don't mind you looking at my phone or whatever, but, like, yeah. I don't think, I guess my point is I don't think it,
We're just asking.
sure.
Right now, I'm just asking.
I understand that.
So it is what it is, and we have to ask. So
Yeah, I'm not gonna have police out going through my house and stuff, that's just not,
that's fine. That's fine.
news leaks and somebody here, I just don't need that kind
Well,
of,
we're trying to keep this very discreet because we do understand what you're talking about. It came out in a Buick, which is not normal like
I
a police
understand.
car. So, you know, we're not interested in making your life difficult or anything like that. We're trying to get these things figured out.
Sure.
And get it taken care of. So,
sure,
with that, so you said you would let us look in the phone?
sure.
Okay, great. And you help us get to the other phone, too?
I'll see if I can find it.
Okay, all right. So let me go back to that form, and we'll get this phone back to our team, which can do that. So I covered this with you. What kind of phone is it, or can you tell?
It's a Google something or other. It's a Google. Pixel.
Pixel, okay. It's a black phone, okay. And what is the passcode?
2045.
45, okay. All right, great. So I read this to you, so if you have any questions, do you have any questions about your rights about being able to do this? Or we just need your signature there to verify that you understood everything?
You know what? Let me talk to my wife before I do anything.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't want to do this, because I'm cool with it, but at the same time, I don't want her to get pissed off because I don't know.
It's okay.
We watch TV shows and stuff, and I just, like, I don't want to be associated with this thing, obviously, more than anybody else does. And am I an angel of a person? No. I mean, I'm like anybody else, and I guess I don't want you, maybe I don't want you looking at every website I visited, and
I can believe
so I think, I'll talk to my wife, and if she's cool with it, then we'll do it.
Can I, I'm gonna get something, I'm gonna show you something just really quick, I'll be right back.
Used to crush them to recycle.
Sure, do you want another one?
No, I'm good.
One of these is colder than the other, so. But no, we're trying to give you a hard time.
I understand.
Again, we're just trying to get these things taken care
And
of.
I get
for
that.
a long time, so.
I get that, but, and I guess that's, not that I ever question anybody's integrity, but
That's fine.
it's just, I know that it's at a point where, I mean, you want closure. You want closure for a family, and I'm not, again, I'm not, I don't know you from Adam.
No, it's fine.
I just, but you also can't say it's never happened where pieces have been, we find a piece that's close to fitting and make it fit, and I just don't,
I just want you to see why we came to you. This is
Okay.
this is from the beginning.
Okay,
It's basically tip 74.
okay.
That's
I understand. I get you.
I don't want you to think that we're just randomly coming after you.
And you've been.
Oh, I don't think you're coming after me, it's not that.
You've been completely honest with this. You said, well, what the information you can see right there, Mr. Allen was on the trail between 13:30 and 15:30.
That's true. I mean, I don't think that,
What time that was.
I know I wasn't out there that late, I don't know what I told him that day, but I know I wasn't out there till 3:30 or so. Yeah, it's 3:30.
That would be right around 1:30 until 3:30.
No, I'm saying when I left. 1:30 would have been more of the time I would have left,
Okay.
not gotten there. Because the only reason I remember is because I know I left around 11 o'clock or so, because they were getting ready to go do lunch.
Uh-huh.
And I wasn't going to do the lunch thing with everybody, so
And
I
you
just
told
went
us-
home and
Right.
was going to watch the stock market, thought it was a nice day, and I'd go take a walk on the trail before I did.
Yeah. So things we're asking you is nothing any different than we ask anybody else around there.
Yeah. And look at all the stuff you told us, and there's nothing inconsistent here. So.
I guess I was actually watching my stock, so it must have been working. You asked
Mhm.
about that. Vehicles parked at the High Bridge Trail. It wasn't, I mean, it was that farmer's pull-off is where I was seeing these.
Different people call.
Sure, gotcha. And you have the information off my cell phone,
Mhm.
so.
Yes, that's why I really like to have that cell phone in particular.
But again, that's why we're here.
Sure, and I get that.
We're trying to put, if there's any pieces you missed or anything that you can recollect.
Sure, and that's honestly, that's what I thought this was. And I mean, there's nothing else I can really think of, but as far as searching my house and my phones and like.
Well, let me say, I haven't even got to that yet. I just want to let you know, those things have been very helpful for us, okay? I'm not necessarily asking right
How
now.
have they been helpful?
Eliminating people.
What we do is, we can say for sure, okay,
Sure.
and we didn't find anything, okay? That's how we estimate the successfulness.
And I guess, I see that.
Yeah.
I guess when you say progress, it's like we're still where we were, and I'm not saying you haven't made progress.
No.
You obviously have. I'm just saying, like, we're here because we haven't found the guy that did this, and I'm not gonna turn into that guy. I'm not gonna, I don't wanna become the target of something because, like I said, we watch a Dateline every week, we watch everything, and it's one of those, I mean, there's nothing that's going to tie me to it, and I'm not worried about that. To have people come and start searching my house and stuff, I mean, my wife doesn't even know I'm here talking to people, so, but I mean, I can look for the phone, I'll talk to her, and, I mean, obviously, any time that you feel that you need that information quicker, I know you can get it. It's not like you can't get it if you want it. I'm not an idiot.
What information would that be?
Searching my house, searching my
Oh,
phone, searching my...
Well, and again, the reason I said search your house and your car would be to be able to say to someone, look, we did actually take care of this information. We know for sure, okay, what was there, what we found, and that gives us the answer we need for a particular situation that we're dealing with.
Sure.
Okay, it doesn't mean that we're trying to put anybody in a box, okay,
Sure.
or anything like that. Or I know you brought up several times wanting to be able to resolve the case. No, what we want to do is be able to find the person who...
Absolutely.
That's
what I mean.
Not try to put anybody in that box that wasn't responsible for what happened. Okay?
I understand that.
So,
I'm not saying you just want to label somebody, but, you know, I had nothing to do with it. I haven't been a part of this investigation. I mean, I have with what I did, and now obviously you question me further, and that's fine, but
Sure.
it's a horrible thing, and I mean, I don't want to be any more involved in it than what I have to be. If I thought I had something that was useful, by all means, I'd give you anything I had. I just don't know what's going to be useful to you.
Sure, I understand. So that's one of the reasons why we asked for the phone, is to be able to nail down that aspect of it, especially the phone that would have been involved in that situation, which would be the phone you gave the information on to the officer.
Sure.
And also, something that would be very important to look at would be your car, because when somebody does something that's involved in something like this,
Sure.
there might be traces of biological information and data or substances that were left behind inside the vehicle. So,
Sure, I
does
mean-
that make sense? So, would it be helpful for us to be able to look at your car to be able to determine if there be anything like that inside of it, forensically, okay? Forensically means that we'd have a close examination of the car.
I know that.
And then again, like everything else that we're telling you, then we can say, we looked at Rick, we looked at his car, there was nothing in his car. That's the point. That's the whole point of everything.
Yeah, this is out of left field, guys. I'm going to talk to my wife before I do anything. I mean, this affects her as much as it affects me. And I know you guys don't talk to people. I don't hear a bunch of rumors out there, but I don't want anybody knowing that I talk to you guys.
Oh, I understand.
It's just not
And
something.
we don't do that.
Sure.
That's not something we want to do at all. So, we don't just go out and randomly talk to people and stuff like this.
Sure, I understand.
Okay. So, with the phone, you say you want to take some more time to think about it. A couple things that I wanted to ask you about. Would you mind, Sarah, if we stepped out for a little bit and
Sure.
came back? Are we okay with you? I think we need just a few minutes right back. Hey, how you doing? So, what I want to do is kind of show you some of the stuff that we do have here.
Why it's important.
Why it's important, we get your cooperation. One of the things that you told us was that you had driven out there in your car, and you think you've driven out there in your car. We have a picture of your car that shows it was going out to the trails that day, okay? And now, one of the important things for us is to help understand exactly where you were at that day, what was going on. You've already told us that you were out there. That's really, really important.
Sure.
For you, okay?
Obviously.
So, with that, what I wanted to do is try to help you work through this whole thing. I'm going to be completely honest with you. We've been able to talk to your wife,
Sure.
talk to your daughter already. Well, this is all happening. We had time to do all that.
Sure.
And we've heard that you had some issues, even at one point put a gun in your mouth that you were going to do something to yourself, maybe 3 years or so.
Yes.
And, you know, look, there's a lot here that we need to get clarified, okay? As you well know, we have pictures of an individual that was on the bridge. And to some great degree, you described that individual as wearing, yourself as wearing blue jeans, a jacket of the same color as that. He described a hat. It's hard to see the shoes, but they're kind of brown. Okay? And this is a picture that was taken with the phone of one of the girls.
Okay, I understand that.
And the question needs to be, is that you?
If it was taken with the girl's phone, that is absolutely, I mean, it's not me, but I never have met these girls before, so even if I thought it looked like me, if it was taken with the girl's phone, there's no way it could be. I've never met them. I've never seen them.
All right, so that's
And
where
as far, well, and let's just stop there. As far as my psychological well-being,
okay.
it has been, I've been dealing with that for years. It's not something new. It's not something because I went out and killed girls. Now I've got psychological problems. Have I had issues? Did I stick a gun? I know how a gun works, and I wasn't going to shoot myself that night. It was probably a cry for help that night. You've obviously talked to my wife, so it is what it is. But I know that you haven't talked to anybody that knows me, has been around me, my family, not my family, that thinks that I may have been involved in this. I wouldn't believe
But
it.
this image, this person right here, he's wearing like a Carhartt jacket, just like you just told us.
Okay.
He's wearing the same clothing that you just told us. We just need to know what happened. Why?
Sure. I said I was wearing blue jeans. Now, I think blue jeans is a pretty common thing that people wear.
Sure.
And I said I was probably wearing a black or a blue coat. It could have been a Carhartt, a zip-up with a hoodie in it. I've had black ones. I've had a blue one, or a blue one and a black one. I guess, you're taking what I told you I was wearing and saying that that's me, and it.
So the other kind of,
And you're serious, you literally want me to, like, that is you want me to say that that's my car?
We looked at
it matches everything. That is your car.
Okay, well, I'm saying that picture, it's like, okay,
Yeah, no, there's zero doubt that that's you.
I don't even, okay, that's
We're
fine.
just showing you what we have and why we need to eliminate it. That's
Sure.
the point.
Sure. All right, well, we're all done here.
Well, here's what
Unless you want to arrest me, that's fine.
Here's what I want to say to you at this point. Look, we have a lot of information here that we need clarification.
Sure.
And that's exactly why we're talking to you at this time.
Well, and that's
And so
fine.
what we want to do is to be able to take a look at your cell phone, take a look at all the data, help us out. That would be great. Or, conversely, in this situation, we've already talked to your employer, and we already know that and we haven't told them what we know about this. We haven't said anything about that.
Sure.
But they say you're a nice guy. And I believe you're a nice guy.
Oh, okay.
Look, I have no reason.
Yeah,
let me paint a picture for you. We went to your house.
No, you got a job to do, and I get
We
that.
went to your house.
You sit down here, and
We went to your house this
we're
morning.
having a conversation, and
We went to your house this morning, and what we did was knocked on the door. You let us inside. we had a nice conversation, and that's great, that's really positive.
Of course it is.
You came here to the center and drove down, you rode in the car with us.
Yeah.
And we had a chance to sit down and talk, and not a fellow who is, I think, a mean fellow. You know, you're not the kind of guy that would go out and do something malicious to somebody. So a lot of what we're trying to get figured out here today, right now, is exactly what's going on here. Why is this information showing us one thing, but then you're telling us another?
What is it showing you? What
This information
I'm just saying that is, just say that is my car. I told you I could have been driving that car.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know what it is but this seems to have taken a turn, you know? You're sitting here and you're talking to me, and you're asking me things, and I get that.
Most people,
But now it's turning into...
Most people have wanted to be eliminated from this.
Well, sure.
That's
I don't want to be included to begin with. So until the point that you have something that tells you that I did this and you want to subpoena or arrest me or something, I've got nothing to worry about. So I'm not real concerned here, but your attitudes towards me have definitely changed, and I don't like the fact that, you know, it feels more like I'm being interrogated, and so then you're going to tell me that you've already talked to my wife and my daughter and stuff. Like, how straightforward is that? You know?
Well, what would you, okay, let's turn everything around. Tell me what you would do differently if you were in our situation. You had this information. How would you react? What would you do? You do the same thing that we were doing right now.
What information is it that you have?
You
have that I was out there, and I told you from the very beginning that I was out there.
Yes, you did.
I didn't hide it.
Did you see this guy?
I didn't know.
Okay.
I told you, I see the only person that I clearly remember seeing that, and this isn't from the day, I mean, this is the next day. The only people or person that came into my mind were those three girls that I seen.
Richard, we're not upset with you, not mad at you, anything like that. We're just
Sure.
trying to get to the bottom of this, okay? No, I'm not, I'm not here to give you a hard time. I'm just here to try to get this situation straightened out. Mm-hmm. And what we want to do is simply get to the truth. What would help us get to the truth is being able to look inside of some of the things you're talking about, okay?
And I get that.
Okay. And
on the other side of things,
here.
Sure. And on the other side of things, if I thought I had something that was going to help you, that would, what do I have that's going to help you?
Okay. Well, I have some questions we can go through here, if you don't mind. And
I think we're done.
We have some other questions here that we could go through here. And what I could do...
You want to hear the questions? What does that hurt?
Some of the questions that we can ask you are simply this. And I don't want you to feel like these questions all sound strange, and it'd be maybe even accusing in nature, but I want you to understand I'm not trying to offend you. But they help us out. They help us out by getting to a little bit farther along in this matter.
So, I don't know. Like I said, you went, you talked to my daughter and my wife.
What do you want?
I can't tell you what happened. I can tell you that if that picture was, I mean, you can sit and take anybody and say, well, if they were wearing this and wearing that, that could be them. If that picture was taken from one of the girls' phones,
here's the
it's
problem
not
with
me
that.
because I've never met them.
No, but listen, here's the problem with that. You know why you can put a lot of people and say they're wearing blue jeans and a blue coat, but you know what the difference is?
No.
You said you were there.
Well, sure I did.
We have people that saw you.
Ricky said you were out on the bridge yourself.
There aren't that many people that saw me. I mean, I'm sure I didn't miss that many people. If they walked behind me, I guess.
You said that you were out on the bridge, this bridge, yourself that day around the time when this happened.
No, I didn't.
You said you walked out onto the bridge. When we talked to you earlier, you said that you walked out to about the first platform or within that area down the bridge. That's what you told us. So we know that you were on the bridge.
Of course I was.
Okay?
And I told you that.
And with that, we can say that, is this person you? That's the question. Is that person you? That's the question we have to answer.
Sure.
Okay? So if that person is you, we know this person followed the girls all the way to the other side of the bridge and then told them to go down the hill.
Follow the, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like you're saying, don't.
Okay, so the bridge here, okay, this is the girls walking towards the other side of the bridge from where the trailhead is at.
The other side.
The other side of the bridge. And this person followed them all the way to the other side of the bridge where the...
Yeah. So
let's just... And told them to go down the hill.
Okay, so let me stop here. I don't appreciate you trying to talk me into this.
No.
This is what I said. You're trying to change my words around. I told you I was on the bridge. Now you just told me this is the trailhead side of the bridge.
Over here on this
And
side.
you're saying I told you I walked on the bridge.
You said you walked on that bridge that day.
And that first trestle is somewhere,
Back there? Okay.
it's somewhere over there.
Help me understand. Okay, you came out this far. We know that...
I did.
You
I didn't go out that far that day.
You came out that far, is what you told us.
I'm not going to tell you how, I can't tell by that how far out I was.
Okay.
I'm just telling you, you're saying that's me, and you're saying this is the far side of the bridge. I don't even go out that far anymore. I haven't for years.
Mm-hmm. Okay, for years, but back then, that was in 2017, okay? And the question is this you?
No.
Okay. So, you're telling me that this person was out there on the bridge and wore the same clothing that you had on that day, but you didn't see them?
You can't tell that's a black Carhartt coat, a blue Carhartt coat, a pullover. I told you I could have been wearing this.
The two kinds of clothing you said you wore that day was either a black Carhartt coat or a blue Carhartt coat. Okay, you said you had blue jeans, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've had jackets.
Okay, so put yourself in my chair.
I guess what I'm saying is I'm not going to tell you I wasn't wearing a black Carhartt that day. I told you I could have been. I don't know if that's a black Carhartt. And if it is, it's not mine, it's his.
And you said you had a hat. You normally wear a skull cap, which covers...
I said I carry one. So if I was wearing one, it would be like a skull cap or a smaller type of hat or something.
Okay. So this is the situation we're at, okay? Basically this. Either you were out there to do this to the girls, or you were out there to be able to introduce the girls to somebody else.
Okay. Good luck finding anything that points in that direction. I mean, it's not me. You're not going to make me believe it's me. You're not going to find anything that ties me to those murders. So I'm not really that concerned. You know, you went from trying to, I don't know what you want to say, get my trust and then slowly lure me into telling you I killed somebody, and I'm not going to do it. You know, I don't know where this changed course.
I'm not trying to give you a hard time, really not. I just want you to put yourself in the situation where we as police officers are looking at all the evidence that we have and what you've told us right now, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not trying to give you a hard time, just want to make sure that we get everything taken care of here. That's why we wanted to look at the things that we wanted to look at.
And that's not going to happen now. I mean, like I said, we're done here. So arrest me or take me home.
I understand. So
Arrest me or take me home. I'm done. This is stupid.
Okay. So that day, that's your phone. So on that day, you went out there on the bridge, and that you were wearing the same clothing that basically the same clothing that this person here is wearing.
That's what you think. I don't know how you can tell that that's a black Carhartt coat, which is what I told you, a black or blue Carhartt coat. Never mind. This is ridiculous. You're trying to tell me that I gave you a description of this guy and I didn't. I mean, we all looked at this thing for months and years, and to me that doesn't even look like a Carhartt coat.
Well, you can't say it's not, can you? I mean, neither one of us can.
Okay, you're right.
Can't say it's not. I mean, we can't say that it's not a Carhartt coat. We can't say that that hat isn't similar to the one that you had at one point. So,
Okay.
with all those things in view.
You've lost my trust. I'm not gonna talk to you anymore. This is stupid. Now you pissed me off.
Well, I'm sorry about that.
Okay, so let's get, are you arresting me?
Well, I really want to try to get
Are
this
you
thing worked out,
arresting me?
okay? I want to try to get this thing worked out.
Am I free to leave or not?
You've always been free to leave.
Thank you. You're an asshole.
Hey, one thing we could do. He's wearing the same clothes.